on, Bears family! This is not a drill. While a war veteran announces the birth of a killer duo in the trenches, yes, that duo you imagined, an overlooked ghost in the draft is about to turn the secondary upside down, and not even the scouts saw it coming. But watch out. While the defense loads up with power, hell is looming over the quarterbacks. A QB2 just made the mistake that could cost him his career. Did you hear the deadly silence after that wobbly pass? And to top it off, a Titan just stole Caleb Williams' soul at his own house. Is this the sign of a ruthless defense? Or a curse for the future? This is more than news. It's the future of Chicago being decided today. Do you dare miss the details that will shake September? Subscribe now, hit the bell, and comment "Bear down" if you believe the defense will dominate the NFC, or if the field hides a time bomb. Things just got ugly. The defensive chemistry is shaping up spectacularly in Chicago, and I'm telling you, what's happening between Grady Jarrett and Jarrett Dexter goes way beyond a mere teammate relationship. Jarrett just dropped some comments that have me completely convinced we're witnessing something special, something that can forever change the face of our defensive line. Listen to this closely because Jarrett isn't the type to speak carelessly. When he says Dexter has a really high ceiling, I believe we're witnessing the birth of a duo that will shake the whole league. Let me ask you this. When was the last time we saw a veteran of Jarrett's caliber show such enthusiasm for a young player? The answer is never, and that tells me everything I need to know. But let's break down the details that truly matter. Jarrett specifically mentioned that Dexter can be effective both against the run and in pass rush, and that Bears family is exactly what we need in the center of our defensive line. I'm telling you, having a defensive tackle who can collapse the pocket while also stopping power runs is like having a unicorn on your roster. Dexter's initiative to organize training in Miami and invite Jarrett shows a leadership mindset beyond his years. Do you realize what this means? We're talking about a player in his third year who's already thinking like a captain, who's taking the responsibility to improve not just his game, but that of the entire team. Jarrett also mentioned something that gave me goosebumps. You can see it in the work he's doing in the gym outside the facilities. He would arrive early, spend extra time with the coaches. I believe this is the difference between an average player and a developing star. Dexter isn't waiting for things to be handed to him. He's actively seeking them. And when Jarrett says their styles complement each other perfectly, I see a defensive line that's going to create nightmares for offensive coordinators throughout the division. Imagine this: Jarrett with his experience and refined technique, working tandem with Dexter's youth and raw strength. It's a combination that can dominate the center of the line like we haven't seen in years. Now let's talk about something that truly excites me and could be the most underestimated. Story of the entire offseason, Dennis Allen just found what could be the biggest surprise of the year, and I'm telling you, Taiishim Johnson is going to be a name you'll remember for a long time. Believe me. Do you know what fascinates me about Johnson and why I think he's going to revolutionize our secondary? His versatility is exactly what a modern defense needs in this era of spread offenses and multiple formations. I believe when you have a player who can play safety, cornerback, and cover the slot, you have a secret weapon that can completely change the game at any moment. Let's analyze the numbers because statistics don't lie. In 54 games between Ole Miss and Oregon, Johnson accumulated 262 tackles, 11 passes defended, and 6 interceptions. But here's where it gets interesting. He set his personal record with 3 interceptions in his last year, which tells me he was constantly improving and peaking just as he entered the draft. Brent Sobleski from Bleacher Report isn't wrong when he says Johnson will be the most impactful undrafted free agent, and I'll go one step further. I believe this kid is going to make other teams regret not picking him. Remember Jack Sanborn? He was also an undrafted free agent who became a starter before heading to Dallas. History can repeat itself. But there's something deeper here that excites me. Johnson represents Ben Johnson's philosophy of having playmakers all over the field. The head coach wants players who can create turnovers and change the game's momentum. And Johnson showed in Oregon that he can do exactly. What really impresses me is his mentality. Despite not being selected, Johnson arrived in Chicago hungry to prove he belongs at this level. Dennis Allen, who has worked with some of the best defensive backs in the league, sees something special in this kid. And that tells me everything I need to know. And here's the part that excites me the most. If Johnson really shines during training camp, we could be looking at the future. With Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker becoming free agents soon, having a young and versatile player who can grow in the system could be exactly what we need to keep our secondary strong for years. Here comes the news that worries me. And I think it should worry you too, because this goes beyond just a bad day at practice. Tyson Beagent continues to struggle with arm strength issues, and what happened on Wednesday's practice is a warning sign we can't ignore if we want to be honest about the future of our depth. Mark Carman from CHGO Bears described a scene that broke my heart, and that probably defined Beagent's future. Tyler Scott was running completely free down the right sideline. It was the perfect moment for Beagent to show he had improved over the offseason. It was his golden opportunity to silence the critics and win. The pass fell miserably short, so short that even Beagent himself collapsed after the attempt. I'll tell you this, when you have the perfect opportunity to shine in front of the new coaching staff and you waste it like that, there are real consequences. Ben Johnson is not Matt Eberflus. He won't tolerate limitations that could compromise the team's development or jeopardize the chances. But let's analyze the broader context, because this goes deeper. I'll ask you this. Isn't it significant that Case Keenum got all the second-team reps immediately after the incident? I think this is a clear indication that Beagent's role as QB2 is in serious danger. And honestly, it might be the right call. Arm strength isn't just a pretty stat. It's a fundamental necessity in modern NFL. When you can't make certain throws, you completely limit what your offensive coordinator can do. Thomas Brown, our offensive coordinator, needs to know he can call any play in his playbook without worrying about the quarterback's physical limitations. And here's something that worries me even more. This isn't a new problem. Beagent struggled with arm strength as a rookie in 2023, and he clearly hasn't made the necessary adjustments during the season. When a technical problem persists for so long, it's no longer just a mechanical issue. It's a real limitation that can define a career. Carman also mentioned that Beagent waited, and then waited a little longer before releasing the ball. That tells me he knew he needed more time to generate the necessary velocity, but in the NFL, you don't have luxury. Defensive backs are going to close those windows of opportunity in split seconds. The reality is that Ben Johnson needs a backup who can maintain the same level of offensive aggression if something happens to Caleb Williams. If your second quarterback can't make the deep throws or sideline passes with authority, you're severely limiting your ability to win important games. And now we come to the news that's got the whole city talking, and that leaves me torn between excitement and concern. Tremaine Edmunds just reminded everyone why he's still a key piece in our defense, and he did so by intercepting our star quarterback. Not once, but twice in a single practice. Do you know what this tells me? I believe Edmunds is ready to have a redemption season under Dennis Allen's system, and that should excite all Bears fans. Nicholas Moriano from Bear Goggles On reported that the linebacker not only intercepted Williams directly, but also played a key role in forcing another interception. Let me ask you this. Isn't this exactly the aggressiveness and anticipation we want to see from our defense? But let's break down what really happened here, because there are layers to this story. Edmunds, who had a 2024 season below his standards with a PFF rating of just 59.2, is clearly hungry to prove he's still the elite linebacker we signed for $72 million. And I'll tell you this, seeing that hunger in practice is exactly what we need. Dennis Allen has a proven track record of maximizing linebacker talent, and I believe we're seeing the first fruits of that collaboration. Edmunds has always had the physical tools. 110 tackles last year, 8 passes defended, maintaining his streak of at least 100 tackles in each season of his 7-year career. But under Allen, we're seeing a new dimension in his coverage game. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Should we be worried about seeing Caleb Williams make these mistakes? I'll tell you this categorically. No. Mistakes in OTAs are learning opportunities, And Ben Johnson is going to use these experiences to refine not only our quarterback's technique, but also his decision-making process under pressure. Think of it this way. It's far better for Williams to make these mistakes now, in a controlled environment where he can learn and adjust, than in a regular season game where every turnover can cost a win. Johnson has been working intensively on refining Williams' mechanics, from his pre-snap movement to how he gets up after a hit. And part of that process includes exposing him to aggressive defenses. But there's something deeper here that excites me. The fact that Edmunds is reading Williams' intentions so well tells me our defense is developing exactly the kind of instinct and communication we need to be elite. When your linebacker can anticipate the quarterback's throws during practice, that translates to turnovers during real games. And here's the part that really excites me about Edmunds' future under Dennis Allen. Allen understands that modern linebackers need to be hybrids, players who can cover, blitz, and stop the run with equal effectiveness. The 4 interceptions Edmunds had in his Chicago debut demonstrate he has the coverage skills, and now we're seeing how Allen is refining those instincts. With an opt-out clause in his contract after this season, Edmunds is playing for much more than just stats. He's playing for his future in Chicago, and performances like this during practice show me he understands exactly what's at stake. These 4 stories demonstrate the complexity and excitement of what's coming for the Chicago Bears, and I believe we're on the verge of moments that will define not just this season, but the future of our franchise. Do you think Dexter and Jarrett will form the most formidable defensive duo in the NFC North? Will Taiishim Johnson truly be the season's surprise that no one saw coming? Are Beagent's persistent issues going to definitively cost him his position as the second quarterback? And what do you make of Edmunds' dominance over Williams in practice? Is it a cause for celebration or concern? I believe we're on the verge of a season that will define the future of this franchise, and I need you, the most passionate family in the NFL, to stay with me every step of this amazing journey. This channel is more than just information. It's our home, our place to celebrate, suffer, and analyze every play of our beloved Bears. If you want to keep receiving exclusive analysis, breaking news, and the most direct opinions on the Chicago Bears, subscribe right now. Leave me your comments with your predictions for the season, and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss a single update, because this is just getting started. Until next time, Bears family, and remember to bear down forever.